St. Thomas University Journalism present the Basement Files.
Hi, and welcome to this week's Basement Files. I'm Catherine Morehouse.
And I'm Jordan Baxter. Here are your top stories.
The rising cost of food is causing worry among New Brunswickers.
An urban design plan is underway for a street on Fredericton's north side. New Brunswickers can expect to pay more for their groceries this year. This worries many locals, especially with those on special diets. Natalie Sturgeon has more on the story.
Food costs will be rising by $345 this year, on top of the increase of $325 the food industry saw last year. The rise in food costs can mean New Brunswickers won't be able to afford the healthier options. Cade McLaren is a type 1 diabetic with celiac disease. Finding fresh produce is a challenge, and higher food prices only add to that challenge. She says shopping for certain items can mean paying a lot more than other people.
For myself alone, $300, which actually should, $300 every 2 weeks, so it's about $600 a month, which would cover two people generally. But because I have to buy things that are gluten-free and easy to take with me to school or take with me to work or to the barn or wherever I am, that means I have to buy specifically like gluten-free bagels, which 4 bagels is $6. So it's excessive.
McLaren says she's not only worried for people who also have special dietary needs, but just average people who won't be able to afford the huge hike. Some small businesses are resisting the price hike for now, but that could change. Taylor Hoyt doesn't have a special diet, but says she's very worried about the possible hike in food prices. Hoyt has turned to growing some of her own food and looking into other options.
Yeah, this is the one I made the other day.
I don't know. I feel like it could go either way because like sometimes it seems like the local produce is the more expensive stuff, but on the other hand, the price of produce that obviously is imported because it's winter is really high. So like where's the difference? Like where does it change over from one being more expensive than the other?
Sobeys told the CBC this is the worst situation in 30 years for trying to import fresh food from places like Florida, Morocco, and Spain. Meat is expected to rise about 4.5% in 2016, and fish and seafood could rise about 3%. The price hike could mean many things for New Brunswickers. The price will continue to rise as the loonie remains low. Companies like Sobeys are turning to local farmers for their produce and fresh vegetables in order to keep prices low for their customers. For Stu Journalism, I'm Natalie Sturgeon.
And now we move from physical health to mental health. This last week was Mental Health Awareness Week. Stu, along with Bell Let's Talk, started a conversation on mental health to end the stigma. Ben Krause has a story.
From ballads to bulletin boards, Stu's Mental Health Awareness Week hit up campus last week. Some events included a free yoga class and an educational fair. Stu Student Union member Brianna Matchett coordinated the week.
This week is important because everyone deals with mental health, and whether it's a friend, a family member, even if you don't have mental illness, we are all somewhere on this continuum, and we all have the ability to be in crisis.
Bell Let's Talk Day fell in the middle of the week. A photo booth was set up in the James Dunn Hall to support the mental health campaign. A coffee house in the Great Hall took center stage Wednesday night. Students performed songs and told personal stories about their struggles with mental illness. A draw was also held to win prizes. The week wrapped up with a body positivity talk in the off-campus lounge. Stu's positive mental health champion, Kelly Humber-Kelly, gave the talk.
So for those people who may be struggling with mental illness, feel like they can't really talk, feel they don't have a voice, this is the week when they feel like they can be open about it, because so many other people are being open about it.
The talk covered topics like eating disorders and self-esteem. The Fredericton Police partnered with Stu's Criminology Department to show their support for those with mental illness. For Stu Journalism, I'm Ben Krause.
Burton Elementary School will remain open after a 7-6 vote from the Anglophone West Education Council. The school has been open since 1961, and many generations have walked the halls. The strength of the growing community is what saved the school. Burton School is one in 7 schools viewed under a sustainability study last year. They looked at schools with less than 100 students or at fewer than 30% capacity. Burton School currently has 57 students from kindergarten to grade 2.
The Banff Film Festival paid Fredericton a visit earlier this week. The UMB Rock and Ice Club held a rock climbing competition in order to honor their theme. Sean Goff hooks us up with the story.
Frederictonians are staying active this year, and there's an alternative to traditional activities like ice skating that's growing in popularity. The UNB Rock and Ice Club held a climbing competition at the Lady Beaverbrook Gym on Saturday as part of a promotion for the Banff International Film Festival. It was founded in 1976, and the main viewing is held in Banff, Alberta. Over 300 films about climbing are submitted for review. Some of the festival's best works were shown at the Fredericton Playhouse this year as part of its tour to over 300 cities. UNB Rock and Ice Club president Sean Fairweather said that there was a surge in popularity this year. He hinted that some of its success was tied to the sold-out show at the Playhouse.
I hope so. Climbing is a great sport, great to get into. It's not like a team sport. You don't have to compete with anyone else. The movements are awesome. Climbing outdoors is even more fun. So like the gym is kind of an intro to climbing outdoors.
Evan Miller is a contestant, and he said he was glad to see the sport growing in popularity.
On the one hand, it's hard to find a spot to climb, but on the other hand, there's a lot of good moral support and really good atmosphere too.
Miller also said that mental health is one of the key reasons that he personally enjoys the sport.
Well, I do it for both of those things. I really like to push myself, and climbing is a really good tool for that. And it also helps me get in shape and relax and lots of stuff.
The Banff Festival is international, but with the sold-out film festival at the Playhouse and the attendance here at the UMB Rock and Ice Club, it looks like the club will be climbing in its membership. For St. Thomas Journalism, I'm Sean Goff.
A local school zone is being kept under a watchful eye as people have been ignoring the speed limit. Fredericton police are cracking down on drivers speeding through the local school zones. Last Monday, police were stationed near Priestman Street Elementary School. Throughout the day, more than 20 drivers were caught and ticketed for speeding through the school zone. Most school zones in Fredericton have a speed limit of 30 kilometers an hour. The drivers were ticketed a minimum fine of $340. Police reported that 2 of the drivers were fined $580 for traveling almost double the speed limit.
Where else do you see drinks rising, music pumping, and brushes flying but at a live art battle? The third for New Brunswick was held at the Charlotte Street Art Center this weekend. Sherry Hahn reports.
They are lighting up in Fredericton to see the arts battle, a competition that started 7 years ago in Toronto. It attracted a crowd of 300 to the Charlotte Street Art Center. It's the third one this season in New Brunswick. And now, it's not just national, but international. Andrew Sampson is the Fredericton organizer.
It goes on across Canada in many cities and towns across the country. And since then, we have expanded to places like Costa Rica, Brazil, the United Kingdom. We're planning to go to Germany this year, so it's becoming an international phenomenon, really. It's really taken off.
All kinds of visual artists can apply to compete in art battle, no limitations on style or theme. The competition is fierce. Artists only have 20 minutes to complete their work. To save time, some ditch their easel and painting on the ground. The tools they use are varied and include the artist's fingers. As the artists work, guests move around the easel, closely watching the creative process. 12 artists complete in 2 qualifying and 1 final round. At the end of the round, the audience votes for their favorite painting and can then bid in a silent auction to take the work home. Molly Davison is one of the highest biders. She said the feels connect to the piece because she has seen it from start to the finish.
Just watching it develop in front of you, but also getting an emotion from the finished product is really great.
Tracy Landry is the champion. She won the Fredericton battle for the 3rd time.
When I paint the human figure, which I adore, female body, the idea of tattoos come to mind because it's art on your body. So therefore, doing art within art is very special.
She got the chance to compete at the Provincial Art Battle in June. The winner of that goes to the National Art Battle in July. For Still Journalism, I'm Sherry Han.
Let's move from the Charlotte Street Art Center to the Beaverbrook Gallery on Queen Street. They will be closed for a few months due to renovations, and to celebrate, they held an event. Nathan DeLong reports.
Crowds flocked to the Beaverbrook Art Gallery before the Off the Walls event for families even began. Inside, there was plenty of entertainment and art activities. Children could create their own work. They also danced to local award-winning band Scotty and the Stars. They could make their mark on a banner on the wall as well. Graffiti artist Jason Wilcox.
Everybody just rushed in and the wall was an instant hit. Kids just grabbed the paint markers and went right to her, and you know, they had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. I haven't stopped smiling all day, which is just awesome. I haven't had this much fun in quite a while.
One of the highlights of Off the Walls was the chance to recreate a piece called Starry Night using gumballs. American artist Franz Spahn was on hand.
You take something like a gumball, and it's a gumball is just so iconic of nothing. I mean, it's just, as kids, you chew gum, and you don't really put a lot of value in that. But as a community, when you take 13,000 of them and you put them in these tubes, it transcends it and becomes something completely different. So to me, it really shows the value of community and what you can do when everybody works together for a similar goal that you.
The Beaverbrook renovation blowout for adults took place that evening. Site work has already started outside the gallery. It closed to the public a few days before the event so work could start inside.
It was
Christina Thompson is the gallery's program director.
Normally, we have every May a big celebration similar to this for Lord Beaverbrook Day, which is celebrating Lord Beaverbrook's birthday. And that's in the summer, and it's warm and beautiful. We have a barbecue outside, and we usually have, between 300 to 400 people show up for that. So this was nearly double that.
All of the exhibits and collections have been removed from the gallery and placed in storage for the construction period. The gallery plans to reopen sometime in May. For St. Thomas Journalism, I'm Nathan DeLong.
The renovations are soon to move north as Fredericton's Main Street is getting a facelift. The urban design plan has hopes to make Fredericton's Main Street the main street of Fredericton once again. Cody Peters has a story.
Main Street in Fredericton is far from being the city's main street, but with the Main Street urban design plan, that could change. The plan has been in development for 3 years and is now in its final stages. The plan aims to change the street into the premier business district for the city's north side. Trina McDonald is the general manager of Business Fredericton North.
Main Street has never had a traditional urban design plan, so it's really developed in a hodgepodge fashion. We have strip mall, big box, converted home, a little bit of anything and everything on Main Street, not your traditional Main Street.
The urban design plan ultimately wants to create a downtown core on the Fredericton's north side. The team is going to do this by bringing the buildings closer to the streets, eliminating the giant parking lots, creating green space like small parks, and building residential areas on top of businesses.
So with these new developments, we're looking at commercial bottoms as well as apartments, condos above, anywhere from 3 to 6 stories, hopefully, so that we bring people down to the street to live as well as utilize it for their work purposes.
The plan is projected to take between 5 and 25 years to fully develop. But some projects are already in the works, like turning the old Canadian Tire building into a strip mall and clearing this area for development. Edwina Corey owns a catering service on the north side.
Okay. Well, I'm thrilled about the Main Street Business Development Plan. The new urban design will, in another 20 years, will certainly transition Main Street into being, hopefully almost like a secondary Queen Street.
Corey is looking forward to the new look, increasing property values by revamping some of the buildings in the area.
For St. Thomas University Journalism, I'm Cody Peters.
And that's our show for the week. Keep an eye on the web to see what we're up to.
From all of us at the Basement Files, thanks for tuning in. See you next time.